Good evening, Parvesh. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? So, during the weekend, I hope you all got some time to do the revision and to do some practice. Okay, very nice, Himani. What about other students? Okay, very good, Ajay. Very good, Sayali. I'm glad that you did practice. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so I already made the day 4 Python file in advance today. So, welcome back to everyone for day 1 of our Python and data science program. So, over the last 3 days, we have learned many important concepts. We have learned about variables, we have learned about different data types, we have learned about user input, different types of operators, and we specifically learned about strings. So, today we are going to learn something that is used in almost every Python program. So far, we learned how we can store a DNA sequence, right? This is our DNA sequence, but in Python, this is called a string. And this is how we can store a DNA sequence by storing this in a variable. Now, suppose that you are working in a genomic laboratory and the laboratory sequenced 5 patients' DNA. So, this is patient 1 DNA, this is patient 2 DNA, patient 3, patient 4, and patient 5. Now, for example, instead of 5 patients, the laboratory sequenced 10,000 patients' DNA. Now, in that case, what would you do? Will you create 10,000 variables to store every DNA sequence of a patient? So that is not an appropriate manner, right? You cannot create 10,000 or 100,000 variables to store every DNA sequence. Now, for example, if you don't want to create these many multiple variables, if you're thinking that I can just store all of these DNA sequences inside a single variable, that can happen. But if you are thinking that you can do it like this, for example, let's copy this DNA sequence and add comma, paste the DNA sequence. For example, let's copy this one, add comma and write this. So here, what are we doing? In our eyes, these are 3 different DNA sequences. But let me know what is the problem here. What do you think the problem here in this string? Let me know your thoughts about this. Very good, Akshita. It will consider as a single string, right? We have learned about string that anything inside these two quotation marks is considered as a string. Very good, Shrija. Your answer is absolutely correct. So here we can understand that these three are multiple DNA sequences of multiple patients. But here Python is considering this as a single string, which means if I write print DNA and if I click on the run program, so here Python is printing me the all of the value of this variable, means we cannot access these individually. So this is a single string. So that is where we need a better way to store all of these multiple values together, and that is where Python provides us list. So today we are going to learn about list. So let's make a comment here. Let's write list. Now, what is a list? So, list is a collection of multiple values stored inside a single variable. So, let's make a variable first. For example, let's write DNA1 and let's make a list. So, to create a list, we use square brackets. Okay, to make a list, we use square brackets. Now, inside the square brackets, we can store these multiple values. For example, let's copy this string and let's paste it here. So, this is our string number 1. Let's copy this string and let's paste it here. So, this is our string number 2, which is here. We have separated it by using the comma. So, let's copy this string number 3 and let's paste it here. Now this is a list, and inside this list we have 3 different strings. We understand strings, right? Anything inside the quotation marks. So here if I write print, here I'm using the function type and let's write the name of our variable, that is DNA1. So let's run this and let's see what Python print as the data type. So here the class is list, means the value this variable is storing is a list. So are we clear what is a list? Paris, look at here. Here we are talking about how we can store multiple values inside a single variable, because if you have 50,000 DNA sequences, so you cannot make 50,000 variables. So that is not a appropriate manner, or it is also not very easy to create 50,000 variables. So we need a better approach how we can store these multiple values. That is where we learned about how we can create a list. So in order to create a list, you will just simply use these square brackets, and inside these square brackets, you can paste or write your DNA sequences, or we can say strings, okay, and separate it using the comma. So now this is a list. Are we clear, Paras? So you can notice here that in order to make a string, we use quotation marks, and in order to create a list, we use square brackets, and we just proved it by using the function type, and Python printed us in the terminal that the value this variable is storing is a list. Everyone, are we clear with what is a list? Okay, now just last time that we learned about indexing and slicing, in the same way we can perform the indexing and slicing here. For example, here we saw the example, right? If I add comma here and let's copy this one and let's paste it. Let's add comma and copy this one and paste it. So here this is a single string, right? Python is not considering these 3 DNA sequences as separate. Python is considering that this is a one complete string, means we cannot access these 3 individually. So here in a list, if we have to access these 3 different strings, how we can access it? We can access it using indexing. So last time we learned about indexing, right? For example, I want to access this first string. So how we can do it? Let me know in the chat box what program you will write to access this first DNA string. Let me know in the chat box. Very good, Akshita. What about others? Let me know in the chat box. Only Akshita answered. What about others? Very good, Shrija. We can use the indexing. So here, let's just comment this one out. If I write print, because we have to print as well, right? And here, I write the name of my variable, that is DNA1. And I need to access this, means this is on index number 0. this string is on index number 1. This string is on index number 2. So we always have to remember that in Python, indexing always starts from 0. That is why it is called zero-based indexing. So if here I give the index number 0, that means I'm trying to access this first string, or I can say first element of this list. So let's click run. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing our string 1 inside this list. In the same way, let's change the index number. Now this string is on index number 1. Let's click on run. So here we are seeing this string. Now this string is on index number 2. So let's write 2. Let's click run. So here we are seeing our third string inside this list. Now, for example, we understood that using the indexing, we can access these three multiple strings. Now, for example, in this string, I want to access A. Now, what I'm talking about in this list, we have this first string, and in this first string, I want to access this first letter A. So, who will tell me the answer? Who will tell me the answer? Let me know. I want to access only this first character A. Very good, Ritika. We will give the index number 0. But if I give the index number 0, I am accessing this complete string, right? If I click on run, this is the complete string, but I only want to access A. So do we understand that A is on index number 0? Just let me know yes or no. Do we understand that this character A is on index number 0? Very good, Shrija. So we understand that this character is on index number 0. That means if I add one more square bracket and if I write 0. So by writing this program, what I'm doing, so this 0 index number, it refers to this string, and this 0 index number, it refers to this character which is on index number 0. So let's click on run. So here is our character A. In the same way, if I want to access this character T, it is on index number 1. Let's click on run. So here we have T. Now in the same way, I want to access this string, which means here I have to give the index number 1, 0, 1, 2, correct? So this string is on index number 1 and I want to access G, which is on index number 0. So here let's write 0. Let's click run. So here is G. So are we clear how we can access the elements inside a list? In the same way, we learned about negative indexing as well, right? So here, if I write print the name of the variable DNA1, and here add square brackets, and here if I write -1, that means I'm trying to access this last element, correct? So let's click on run. So here is our last element. So indexing is the same, just the only difference is today we are doing the indexing and slicing here in the list, okay, in the list data type. Now, for example, let's do some slicing. Here, for example, I want to do this and this. I only want to access this and this string. I don't want to access this string. So let me know what program you will write. If you only want to access these starting two strings, what program will you write? Very good, Akshita. So let's write here, let's write print. Let's write the name of the variable DNA1. Let's add square brackets. So this is on index number 0. We will add colon. This is on index number 1, which means we have to write 2. because the ending index is not included. So here Python is only going to print 1 and 2. So let's comment these two out. Let's click on run. So here we are seeing the list. We can see the square bracket. So this is our list including the index number 0 and the index number 1. Now, this was all about indexing and slicing. Now, one more important thing to learn about list is that a list, you can modify a list. Means a list is mutable. Now, what do we understand by a list is mutable? Means you can modify a list. For example, here, this is index number 0, correct? Let's take this. This is index number 1. So, I want to modify this index number 1. Means I want to modify this DNA string. For example, you can think that we can just modify it here directly, right? Like just like CC or AA. You can just modify here directly. But in programs, we don't do these things particularly. Okay, we do it in a very there's a manner where you can do things in programming. Python, Paras, what don't you understand? Paras, let me know what you don't understand. Paras, these are indexing and slicing that we learned last week. And that's why I gave you whole 2 days, the weekend where you could practice it. Okay, no problem. Okay, so here we are talking about list. That list is mutable, that we can modify a list. So what do we mean by list is mutable? Okay, so here what I want is, this is our string. It is on index number 0. Now what I want to modify it. Means I want to write some another DNA sequence, or I want to write another string here on this index number 0. So one thing that you can do, you can just directly change it from here, right? But we don't do these things here in programming. So there is a particular manner in programming that you can modify your values. So in a list, if you want to modify your particular value, for example, let's write the variable DNA1. Okay, this is a variable DNA1 and this value is on index number 0. That all we understand, that this value is on index number 0. So here if I add square brackets and I write 0, now, what is the meaning of this line? Means this is a variable. Inside this variable, this is the complete value and this is the value index 0 that we are trying to access. This is the meaning of this line, correct? And here, if I write equal to sign. So, when we learned about operators, we learned about the assignment operator, correct? That this means to assign, means to add some value. Are we correct? Are we clear till here? So here by writing this line, it means this is the variable, this is the value, 0 means we are trying to access this value, and here I have written equal to sign means I am trying to assign something at this value. So here let's assign something, let's write ATGC. Now tell me, do we understand the meaning of this line? Everyone, do we understand the meaning of this line? Okay, very good everyone. So what is the meaning? That in our variable, we have a list and at index number 0, we are assigning this value. So what is the meaning? That we are trying to modify our list and Python lets us modify the list. Okay, for now, just remember that Python lets us modify the list, because in some data types Python does not let us modify a list like this. We will also learn about this as well in today's lecture. So for now, for this moment, just remember Python lets us modify the list, and here by writing this line of code, we are modifying the list. Now, if I write print the name of my variable DNA1, so what are we going to see in our output? First of all, we will see this, then we will see this, and then we will see this string. Now let's click on run. So can we see that we just modified our list by writing just simple this line of code? So what are we using here? We are using indexing, correct? And we just used a assignment operator, means to assign. So here Python lets us modify a list. So do we have any question that list is mutable and what is the meaning of that? Are we clear, everyone? Okay, very good. Now, here I just told you that Python lets us modify the list. List is mutable and we just modified our list. Now let's modify it a little more. Zia Ali, list show double quote. Zia, what do you mean by that? Let's run this program again. Are you talking about this single quote? Zia, it doesn't matter, okay? It's the same thing. If you're talking about this single quote and here we wrote double quotes, so it's the same thing, okay? We learned about strings in the last session, right? We can make a string using single quote, we can make a string using double quote, and we can make a string using triple quote. Do you remember, Zia? So it's the same thing, it is a string, okay? Part here, if you're talking about 0 here, you can change this as well. For example, you want to modify this DNA sequence, this string. So it is on index number 1. So here, just simply write the index number. Now, what are we trying to do? We are modifying this DNA string. So let's click run. So here we can see we just modified this string. Are we clear, Parth? Okay. Now I was saying that let's learn how we can modify a list a little more. So here, now for example, we just modified our currently available DNA sequences, right? This was our currently available string. Now if I want to add more DNA sequences, so here just assume that the laboratory you are working in, they gave you 3 DNA sequences and you created a list and you store all these 3 DNA sequences. Now they gave you more DNA sequences of patients, means you want to add more DNA sequences here in the list, right? So in the future, this list, it will keep getting on modified. So if you want to add more DNA sequence in a list, that is where we are going to learn about methods. Okay, I'm repeating it again, so listen to this very carefully. In the last session, we learned about strings, right? So what is a string? It is a data type. Today, we are talking about list. What is a list? List, it is also a data type. So that means we have different data types in Python, and each of these data types, they have their own different methods. So for example, let's write the name of our variable first, DNA1. Now, if we want to see the methods of list, so here we will add dot. Okay, after you add the dot, you will see all the methods here of the list. So these are all the methods of the list. Now, for example, let's just remove the dot one more time. Here we have this string, correct? This is the string. That means let's just write here DNA and add dot. So after I added dot here, these are all the methods of a string. Now we are seeing all the methods of a string. Are we getting the point? Are we understanding that this variable DNA here, the value that it is storing, it is a string. So that is why when we add dot here, we see all the methods of a string. But here, this variable DNA1, it is storing a list. So when you will add dot, so you will see all the methods of the list. Okay, so string has its own methods, list has its own methods. Today we will learn two more data types and they have their own methods. So now, one more thing, this dot means inside this. Okay, and inside this, what we have inside this, we have a list data type. So that is why after adding dot, you see all these methods. So the first method that we are going to learn about list is the append method. So let's select this append method and here we will add parentheses. Now, why did we add parentheses here? Because this method, it works similar to a function. We understand that print is a function, and how do we write print? We write print like this. And here inside this parenthesis, we give our input. Correct? In the same way, you write a method like this. Is this point clear about methods? Is this point clear? Functions, functions are different in Python, means they are built-in functions in Python. Yes, Ziali, methods and functions are different. So if we talk about print, here we talk about print. One function that we also learned about is input. We also learned about type, correct? So these are inbuilt function of Python. Means they work for everyone. They work for everything. But these function, append, it only work for list. Okay, if you use this method for string, here for example, if I write DNA dot append. Okay, first of all, notice the color. Do you see it is white in color here? Because DNA here, it is a string, and here you can see, notice the color here, it is purple. So this method here, it only works for list, it does not work for string. There are some methods that work for everyone, but there are certain methods that they only work for their particular data type. Okay, so even if you here add dot, let's add dot again. So here you will not see the method append. So are we clear with methods, that how they are, how functions are different and how methods are different? Are we clear with this? Okay, very good everyone. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to add one more DNA sequence here in this list. So this append method, it does exactly that. So if we want to add a DNA sequence, so let's write a DNA sequence ATGC. So what I want to do, I want to append this DNA sequence inside this list. So here, first of all, we will write the name of our variable. We will add the dot operator, we will call the append method, and we will give our input that this is the string that we want to append in this list. Now what this method will do, it will add, means it will append this value in this list. Okay, so first of all, if I click on the run button, first of all tell me what output will we see. If I click on run button, what output we will see? Zia, we are talking about data types. Okay, variables can be anything. You can make variable out of anything. But here we are talking about data type. So here you can see this is the variable, right? And this variable is storing a list. That is where we wrote this program to check that what is the data type of this variable. It is a list. So list has its own method. And here, if we talk about this variable, patient 1, patient 2, patient 3, patient 4, patient 5, these are all the variables, and all of these variables are storing a string. Okay, so means this variable is a string. The value that it is storing, it is a string. So we will see all the string methods. Are we clear with this, Zia? Okay, very good, Anand. ATGC will be added in the list. Okay, very good, Akshita. Okay, what if I tell you we will see nothing on the screen? So can you now think that why we will not see anything on the screen? Okay, let's run this program. So we are seeing nothing on the screen. So can you tell me why are we seeing nothing on the screen? Very good, Swayam, because we did not write the print function. Okay, the job of the print function is to display something on the screen. The append job is not to display on the screen. Its only work is to append this value here on the list. So we have to use the print function. So let's do print, call the function print, write the name of our variable DNA1. Now let's click on run. So here, can we see that our new value has been appended inside our list at the end. So this append method here, it will always append your value at the end. It will not append your value here or here in the middle. It will always append your value at the end. So this is the fact about this append method. Sazia, are we clear with this? Do you understand? Very good, Emmanuel. That's the thing I'm telling you, Paras, that append here, it always add your value at the end. It does not add the value here in the middle. Okay? That's the fact about the append. Okay, now for example, one more thing. So here, for example, you want to append two values. So what you will do, you will just add comma and let's write AATTCC. Okay, so for example, you will try to do things like this. You will try to explore, but I will just show you the error. So here, append here, you are adding two values. So here, for you, the syntax is correct, right? Everything is correct. You are not seeing any yellow line or any red line. But when you will click on run, you will see an error. Now, what is this error? This is the type error, and here the error is in line number 32. This is line number 32. And what is the error about? That list append takes exactly one argument but two given. So we need to understand what is the error about. So here the error is saying that this append method, it only takes one argument. So here, this is argument number 1 and this is argument number 2. Okay, sometimes we call these arguments. Are we clear with the term argument? So here, this append method, it is designed in a way that you can only give one value. Means you can only give one argument. So that means you can only append one value at a time in your list. So are we clear with this? Let's click on run. So here we are not seeing any error and here the append method works. Yes, Path, one argument at a time. So append method here, it only takes one argument at a time. Okay, so here we understood about the append method that we can append any value at the end of the list. Now, what if we want to add value here in the middle? I don't want to add this value at the end. Here I want to add the value here. That means at index number 1. Can we say at index number 1? Because this string is at index number 0. So I want to add this value at index number 1. So for that, we have another method. Okay, so let's see what is this different method. So first of all, let's write the name of the variable DNA1, add dot operator, and here we have this method insert. Okay, and add the parenthesis. So here we have this append method if we want to append the value at the end, and if we want to add the value in the middle, for that we will use the insert method. So for the insert method, we can give two arguments because we have to add the value at a certain position. So what is the position? It is position number 1. So first of all, let's give the index. Okay, so here you will give the index 1 and this is the value that you want to add at index 1. So this is the syntax of the method insert. First of all, you will give the index number where you want to insert your value and this is the value. Are we clear with this? Let's comment this out. Let's call the print function. Add the name of your variable DNA1. Now let's click on run. So here can we see ATGC on index number 1? Yes, Swayam, if you want to append more sequences, more values, you have to use it another time. So are we clear about the insert? Now, for example, I just don't give the index value. Okay, so here I just remove the index value. I just gave this value that I only want to insert this value. I did not specify the position. Now let's click on run. Now what is the error about? Error is in line number 35. This is the line number 35 and the error is type error. Insert expected 2 arguments but got 1. So do we understand this error? That this method, it expected 2 arguments, but here only 1 argument was given. So these methods, they are designed in a appropriate manner for every kind of things. Okay, so here we have to give 2 arguments. So this is my argument number 1 and this is my argument number 2. Okay, now in the same way, we have many methods that you can explore. I will provide you all of the methods in the assignment. Okay, so let's just see one more method of the list. Let's comment this one out. So for example, I want to remove this. Okay, I want to remove this DNA string from my list and it is on index number 1. So to remove an element from a list, let's write the variable DNA1, add dot, and here we have this method remove, add parenthesis. Now what do you want to remove? You want to remove this. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. So you can remove your element by using this method and let's write print name of the variable DNA1. Let's click on run. So here can we see our list without this DNA sequence here, this DNA string. So these are the methods of the list. Do we have any questions regarding the methods of the list? Okay, now for example, here, if I give any string that does not exist inside the list, so what will happen? Will Python give me an error or will it print me nothing? Are we going to see an error? Because this here, this value, it does not exist inside this here in this list. So here, let's see, let's click on run. So what are we seeing? We are seeing a value error because this string, it does not exist inside a list. So if something does not exist inside a list, Python will give us an error, not in the list. Okay. Now, in the same way, let's talk about string. So last time we learned about strings. So today, let's talk about the strings method. Just like in the same way we can call the methods of the list, in the same way we can call the methods of the strings. So here, let's write DNA, let's add dot. So this is the first method that we can see, capitalize. Okay, so the capitalize, it is an English word. So can you understand anything with just the word capitalize? Let me know, what do you think? Capitalize, it is a very common English word. The meaning is the same in this Python as well. Very good, Paras. Word capital letter. So this is the first letter A, correct? So Python, what is going to do, as we can clearly see, all the letters here, they are already capital. right? So what I'm going to do, let's write it in lowercase. Let's write A, T, G, C, G, T. Okay, so now here we have used this method here, capitalize. First of all, if I write it like this, let me know what do you think will be the output. Very good, Emmanuel. First of all, tell me what will be the output. Okay, what are you expecting? We will not see that. Even though your answers are correct about this method capitalize, but what you will see in the output, let's see. Here we are seeing A, T, G, C, G, T. Exactly these small letters. We did not see the capital word. Here, let me copy this and let's paste it here. And now let's run it again. So we are exactly seeing the value of the variable DNA. So can I say that this method here, it is not working? Can I say this method is not working? I just showed you two examples. Python printed the value of the DNA exactly like this, and second time exactly like this. Even if I write, let's write something else. Let's write A, T, T. Let's write like this or something like this. Okay, let's click on run. So can we say the value is exactly this, means capitalize here, this method is not working? Does someone know the answer? Anyone wants to answer? Okay, let me tell you. Here in the list, what we learned here in the list, that list is mutable. And do we understand? List is mutable means we can change this. We can modify a list. A list is mutable. But a string here, it is not mutable. Here, string is not mutable. So if I want to do capitalize, if I want to use this method, so I have to write it like this using the print function, and here write the name of the variable, add dot, use the capitalize, click on run. So here let's click on run. So here, can we see that the first letter here, it is capitalized and the rest of the letters are small. Let's change it again. Let's write small a, t, g, c, g, t. Let's click on run button again. So can we see that a has been capitalized and the rest of the letters are small here. Let me copy this one and let's paste it here. Now here what will happen, A will be capitalized and the rest of the letters will be in lowercase. Let's click on run. So here can we see A has been capitalized and the rest of the letters are in lowercase. So capitalize means the first letter will be capital and the rest of the letters will be in lowercase. So here we saw that I here used the method like this. When I wrote the program like this, it worked. But when I wrote it like this, how we were doing in the list, it did not work here. So does anyone wants to answer? I already gave you the hint that string is not mutable. So does anyone wants to answer? All of you who use the word indexing here for capitalize, so your answer is wrong. So do we understand this here method here capitalize? Its meaning is only the first letter will be capital and the rest of the letters will be small. Now our question is, if we write it like this, it works. But if we write it like this, how we were doing till now in the list, it did not work. So string is not mutable. So what is the meaning string is not mutable? Sazia, we cannot remove the quotation mark. Sazia, did you watch the previous lessons? A string means anything inside quotation mark. So anything that you write inside a quotation mark, it is a string. So this is a string. Okay, Sazia? Okay, so here we mean that strings are not mutable, means they are immutable. Can I say strings are not mutable? Means strings are mutable in Python, and mutable means they cannot be changed once they are created. Okay, strings here, they are immutable, means they cannot be changed after they are created. So the methods of the string, like capitalize, or here if we see other methods, let's add dot. So all these methods of the string, like capitalize, or here we have upper fold, uppercase, lowercase, all of these methods of the string, they do not modify the original string. So what is this? This is a original string. So here string is immutable, means we cannot change the original value. So these methods here, they do not modify the original string. So here when I wrote it like this, here we just learned here in list that we can write it like this, but it is not working for strings. So when I write it like this, my variable, and I called the method on my variable, and then I wrote print DNA. So here by writing this, what are we trying to do? We are directly trying to change the value of our variable DNA. Are we getting the point? By writing this, we are directly changing the value in our variable DNA. Okay, what is the value? The value is this. So that means by writing capitalized method, we are doing capital A and the rest of these letters in small, in the lowercase. Okay, so but by writing it like this, it is not returning anything. Okay, means it is not changing our original string. Here we are printing it directly, but here we are modifying the original string. So do we understand the point here that strings are immutable, means we cannot change the original? Do we understand the point here? Paras, the meaning of the capitalize means we want to do A in the capital letter and rest of the letters in the small letters. Every string has their own methods. We just learned that, right? We learned about list. List has their own methods. These are the methods of the list. Append, this is insert, and this is remove. So by writing it like this, what are we doing? We are directly changing our list. Means we are changing our original list. Okay, by writing it like this, we are changing our original list. But here, strings, they are not mutable. Just like we can change our original list, we cannot change our original string. So when we write it like this, here Python is not changing our original string. Instead, Python is creating a new string and Python is printing that string on the terminal. Okay, here when you write it like this, you are modifying your original value of the variable and then you are printing it. Do we understand the meaning here? First of all, you are calling this method and you are making changes in your original value and then you are printing it. But here, when you write it like this, you are not changing your original value. Here, Python is creating a new value, a new string, and then it is printing that string on the terminal. So, do we understand the difference here? How you write it like this means changing in the original value. Here, Python is creating a new string. So do we, first of all, just let me know, do we understand the difference? It will take you some time to understand, but do we realize that what is the meaning of this changing the original value? Do we understand this? It's okay, take your time, you are learning new things, it will get you some time, but here There are some exceptions, right? You learn about chemistry, physics, science. There are always exceptions. So just take it as an exception that here strings, they are not mutable, list are mutable. Okay. So mean, for example, you have an original data. Okay, you have, for example, let's take this. You have DNA sequences of these 5 patients. Now, for example, if you just here, you are what you are doing here, you are storing the sequences here of your patient records in a list, correct? Now, list, it is mutable here. Now, by accident, you can change your original data, that can happen, right? But we need some data types that are immutable, means even by accident, we do not change our original data. So for now, again, I'm telling you this, that we are building our foundations. We are still on week 1. Okay, this is our day 4. We are still building our foundations. So here we are learning about the data types of the Python that we need to work with the biology to analyze our biological data. So again, for example, you have your original data. So by mistake, you can change your original data and you do not want that. So in Python, we have this data type like string, which is not mutable, means you do not change your original data. Are we clear? Do we have any other questions? Okay, what you can do here, let me show you one more thing. So as we have learned, string here, it is not mutable. And by writing this, Python is creating a new string to print in the terminal. So here, let's make a new variable, DNA2. Okay, let me comment this out. Okay, so here we have created a new variable DNA2 and here I use the equal to sign. Now how I want to use this method on my variable. So let's write the variable DNA. This is our variable DNA. Add dot operator, capitalize, selected, add parenthesis. Now, what is the meaning of this method? That we want A capital and the rest of the letters in the lowercase. This is the meaning of this method. So here, what is the meaning of this? This is the same line. But here, we just stored it in a new variable. Means here, we are creating a new string because we created some changes. So here, we are creating a new string and we stored it in this variable. So if I print my variable DNA2, now we can see the output now, right? Because here we did not created changes in our original value. Here we use the method capitalize. We store that new value inside a new variable and now we are printing that new variable. So let me comment this program and let's run it. Okay, so can we see our output? All letters in lowercase and A is in the uppercase. So here, this is the same meaning that how you directly print here. Okay, either you can do it like this or here you can directly print. So we wanted to understand the difference between this line and this line. So here we are understanding that if you write it like this or if you write it like this, Python is creating a new string. No changes are being made in the original string. That is how we are able to print this variable DNA2 and we are not able to print this because in this program here Python is making the changes in this original value and Python do not allow that in the string. So any confusion? Are we cleared with most of the major of the confusion with this line of program? Let me know your thoughts. So do we understand here, if you write it like this or if you write it like this, both have the same meaning. But here, if you write it like this, you are making the changes in your original value. Okay. Now, this is one method here in this string. One more method that we can use is, for example, okay, again, let's make a variable. Let's make variable DNA2. Let's use our here variable DNA add dot. So another method that we have is count. Now add parenthesis. Now what does this method do? Count. Now for example, I want to count that how many A bases I have in this DNA. So this is a DNA string, right? And how many A bases do I have in this DNA? So I can just simply use the method count and give the input of A, that I want to count how many A do I have. And let's just print the variable DNA 2. Okay, so either we can write it like this or either we can directly print it. Call the print function, add parenthesis, write the name of the variable which is DNA, add dot. So here we have count, add parenthesis and give the input A. Okay, so either you can directly just print it or either you can store this inside a variable and print that variable. Sayali, so we capitalize new string will be created edited one. Okay, Sayali, I don't understand, but I will just explain here. We are not editing our original value. Okay, Sayali, we are not editing our original value here. By writing like this, Python created a new string and that new string here got stored inside this variable and we printed that string. Okay, strings are immutable, they are not mutable, so no changes are being made in the original string. Okay, Sayali? Anand, if we want to edit in a string, we are calling print. Anand, how are we editing by calling print? We are just calling the function print to print something on the screen. Here we are learning about the methods of the string. So this variable DNA, it contains a string. That means all of these methods are of string. Okay, so here what we just did, here by writing this, Python created a new string and that new string here is stored here and here we are printing the new variable. Anand, let me know if you want to rephrase your question. Sayali, what do you mean with print function? Yes, Sayali, we are just getting the capital string. Here we use the method capitalize. So its work is to only capitalize the first letter. That's it. For example, when we are working with the DNA sequence, so sometimes if there are some lower cases in your DNA sequence and you want the uppercase, okay, so there are methods for that as well. For example, let me write here. So have here we have lower. Okay, lower means making all the here, making all the letters in lowercase. So we understand that DNA, they are all in upper cases, right? Have you ever seen DNA sequences anywhere? They're all in upper cases, right? So we use methods for this. That if we want to analyze our DNA sequence, first of all, we have to check whether the data is correct or not. For example, I have this DNA sequence and I have G here, small g. Now, this can create me some errors just because it is in lowercase. So that is where we are using these methods. Sayali, that is where I explained to Samin. For example, you have your original data. Now, by accident, you can change your original data. So, where will you get your original data again? Right? So, in Python, we want some data type that are immutable, that does not change our original data. So, first of all, what do we get? We get our original data. Then we copy that data and we work on the copied data, right? We never work on original data. So we always want to store our original data somewhere, that even by accident, we do not change our original data. Yes, Ali, for that you have to create new string. Okay, here you just created a string and now that's it. You cannot change it. If you want to create a new string, you will take the new input. Okay, anything else? Okay, so here we are talking about another method of the string count, that I want to count how many A bases I have in this DNA string. So this count method, it will do that for me. So here either we can write it like this or you can directly print it. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing three, that we have three A bases in our string. 1, 2 and 3. So for example, this time I want to find how many G bases we have in the string. So let's just write G. So let's click on run and here we have 3. Means let's count 1, 2, 3. Now for example, I add one more G. So let's click run again. So here we have 4G bases in our DNA sequence. So these methods, they are very simple. You just need to have a little practice. Okay, I will provide all of the notes and your practice questions in the assignment as well so that you can practice these methods. So do we have any question regarding the method count? Okay, now let's just learn one more method of string. So first of all, let's write print, let's write the name, DNA, and now what we do next? We add dot. So here we have another method, find. Let's add parentheses. Now, for example, I want to find this A. So this A means where is this A in this entire string. So for example, you want to find some coding regions in your DNA sequence and you know that the coding region is, for example, TAG. Coding region means protein sequencing region. Okay, so TAG, it is coding for protein. So you want to know the position of this. Okay, for now you will not understand that position matters a lot. Okay, but they matter a lot when you are working, when you are analyzing your data. So positions, they matter a lot. So here TAG, you know TAG is in your DNA sequence. Now you want to find out where is the position of this TAG. So for that you will use this method find. So let's write TAG. So either you can write TAG like this, or if you just only want to find A, you can simply write A as well. Okay, so first of all, let's write TAG. Let's comment this one out. Let's run this. So here it is returning us the index number 5, that this TAG is starting from the index number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 0, it is starting from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can we see that TAG is starting from the index number 5? Do we understand this method find, that you can find anything in your DNA string using this method find? Do we have any question here? Till here, only till here. Okay, now for example, let's write A. So here, as you can see that we have many A in this sequence. We have A here as well, we have A here as well, we have A here as well. So if I click on run, let's click on run, Python is returning me the index number 0. So that means the Python, it found out the A first of all at index number 0, and that's it for Python. Okay, it means we wanted to find A, Python found the A, and Python will just stop working. So here, even though we have many A after this, but Python, whatever it will find first in whatever position, whether it's position number 0, whether it's this position, if Python finds it first, it will just stop there. So are we clear till here? I will also explain further, but let me know, are we clear till here? Part this find methods is for to find something inside this DNA sequence. Okay, Now, for example, I am not looking for this A. I'm looking for this A. I want to know where is this A in this DNA sequence. What is the position of this A? So for that, what you can do, you can give a value and a start. So we have already given our value. Now we can give a start. So here I give the start 1. That means I want Python to start finding from index number 1. That means this time Python will not give me the index number 0. Are we getting the point? Here we give the starting value 1, that I am telling Python find this value A, start from the index number 1. Now let's just click on run. So here we are seeing 6. So let's count it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So A is at index number 6. So here this is how you can use this find method. Either you can just simply give a value like this TAG, or here like A, and if you want another positions you can just simply give the starting value 1. So are we clear with the find method? Okay, now just one more thing that I want to tell you today, and then that's it for today's session. Okay, so here today we learned about some methods of string, we learned about some methods of list, and we learned that list is mutable, and here by writing this line of program we understood that we can directly have changes in this list. Okay, so first of all, what I want you to do, just like how we changed this original list by writing this line of the program, I want you to try this line of the program for the list. Are we understanding this little one question of homework? That how we understood the list is mutable. So we wrote this program that this is a variable DNA. This is the position number 1 and we want to change this position 1 with this value, and then we printed it and Python gave us the output for the list. So I want you to try this little program for list. Sorry, for string. So that's how you will be able to understand that string here, it is immutable and list is mutable. So first of all, tell me, are we clear with this little homework? Do you need me to repeat that question again? Okay. So here I just need you to tell you one more function. So one more function is length. Just like we have learned about print, we have learned about input, we have learned about type, length here, it is a function. Okay, it is a built-in function in Python. So here, let's make a variable DNA. Let's make a string ATGC. Okay, it is a very small string. Now, I want to find out what is the length of this string. Okay, what is the length of the string? So just how we are using the type function, in the same way we will use this length function. So let's write the function print. Here let's write, first of all let's write type and then the name of the variable. Okay, we already understand this line of program till now. In the same way we will use this function length. So let's write print, let's write length, add parenthesis, give the name of your variable length. So this length here, it will give you the total length of the value this variable is storing. Okay, so let's click on run. Okay, let me comment this one out. Let's run it again. So here we are saying that the length of this variable is 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So do we understand this built-in function length? So what is the function of this length? To tell us what is the length of this entire string. So here we used this function length in the string. In the same way, we can use this function in the list as well. So this is our list. Let's write print. Let's write length, add parenthesis and the name of the variable DNA 1. So here it will give us the length of the list. Okay, let's click run. So here, what is the length of the list? It is 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's add one more string here. Let's write ATG. Let's click run again. Now this is 4. Okay, so this, just like print is a built-in function in Python, in the same way length is a built-in function of Python, and it tells us what is the total length, whether it's a list or whether it's a string or whether it's another data type. It works with everyone. Okay, so that was it for today's session. I actually wanted to teach more about list, but we will continue with it tomorrow. So do we have any questions regarding today's session? Yes, Ashwathi, do you have any question? Okay, so if you don't have any other questions, so you may leave the class. Okay, thank you, Soumya. Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a good evening. Also, one more thing, I will provide the assignment, okay? And in that assignment, notes will be included so that you can practice properly. Okay, that will be assignment 3.